Well, it's Explore with Sven week here on Sunrise all week long. Our planet's Arctic is warming at twice the rate of the rest of the globe, but Svalbard, a cluster of sparsely populated islands east of Greenland and far north of mainland Norway, is warming at 4 times the rate of the rest of us. Why is this place, of all places, changing so quickly? Dr. Kim Holman is the international director of the Norwegian Polar Institute and has been studying this area for decades.
The main mechanism is the fact that it's the tail end of the Gulf Stream. The world oceans are becoming warmer.
And the planet's oceans are absorbing 90% of the extra heat from our extra global warming. That heat is transported almost like on a conveyor belt to Svalbard, where the Gulf Stream dead ends.
So the winter temperatures have risen by more than 10 degrees the past 30 years.
One of the ways we can figure out ancient climate is through sampling ice, or ice cores. Glaciers deposit ice over many hundreds or thousands of years and trap air bubbles, snapshots of our atmosphere frozen in time.
The oldest cores we have drilled here were 1,400 years. From the cores that are 1,400 years old, at least the northern part of Svalbard has never been as warm as now. Climate everywhere on the planet has always changed, will always change. But the rate of change and the levels of change are such that the Arctic will not be the Arctic that we know.
So the incredible thing, Svalbard is 60% covered in ice, but when you look at the glaciers, they're still pretty impressive, but then you see where they used to be, and they're a fraction of what they were just about 30 years ago.
Receded quite a bit.
Yeah, so in our next hour, we're going to dive into the important regulating factor that ice has in the Arctic climate, why it's so important, and these what we call these feedback loops. This is why the Arctic is warming so much faster, less ice, what that does to the climate. So.
Now, you were up there in the summertime. Like, could you see the runoff from the glaciers? Were they melting bare
at that time?
There's
streams running off from the glaciers, and they retreat. So they melt backwards is basically what that means. And then you have these big gushes of water that go out from the edge of the glacier to the sea. But a lot of these glaciers were into the sea, covering it at one time. So
fascinating stuff.